Georgia 104-59. Both teams looking for a better first half. Bellarmine was down 20 at the break. K-State trailed UNC Greensboro by 1 at the break before exploding for 60 in the second half. Backdoor cut and a missed jam from Nate Johnson, who nearly had a triple-double the other night.
He was fantastic. And you think about all of the different pieces of the puzzle that Jerome Tang has, and this backcourt has been what has stood out early for Kansas State.
6 threes in the opener for Nate Johnson, the most ever by a Wildcat in a season opener. And to our knowledge, there's never been a triple-double in K-State history.
He was so close.
Yeah, although Ernie probably had one.
He probably did. You are absolutely right. Yes, so close. 22 points, 9 assists, 9 boards. But it's, again, versatile, and that's what you're seeing with all different players coming into the lineup for Jerome Tang and his staff. Johnson,
a near steal. He is just such a factor on both ends of the floor. Not only the MAC offensive player or player of the year, but also the defensive player of the year last year.
And he has just drawn the praise of this Kansas State coaching staff, and the fact that he is strong and he's athletic. He fits in the Big 12, and that's exactly what you need, maturity at both ends.
Darius Bolden getting the start tonight after 4 years at Wisconsin Stevens Point in his first year with Bellarmine. Johnson tries to feed it inside, stolen away by Karasinski.
Think about the slow start that this K-State team had Monday in the opener. Part of it had to do with shot selection, and it had to do with turnovers. The defense held strong, but it's about getting better looks on this end of the floor.
Elias Rapiak getting the start at the 4 spot tonight. Johnson too strong on the 3. Battle for the rebound, picked up by Kamari McGriff. McGriff to the left hand, score it.
And McGriff had foul trouble in the opener on Monday, less than 15 minutes, 4 points and 4 boards. But his size and his strength, and again, that maturity experience, what this K-State coaching staff loves.
There's the Bellarmine starting 5. They're without Kenyon Gooden, one of their normal starters who got hurt second half against Georgia the other night. Foul on Kansas State, away from the ball. Cats getting to the offensive glass here.
And that's what you have to do. You've got to be able to get second chance possessions, and that's what this K-State team has been focusing on. If you're Bellarmine, they're going to do everything right. They're going to put a body on you. They're going to block out, but you've got to keep the possessions alive. Those are things that wear down the defense. And if you're Bellarmine, you don't have a great size advantage or opportunity tonight. You got to battle on the glass.
So Tyler Doyle, sophomore out of Lexington, the point guard with size at 6'5". Karasinski, that was a deuce, and we're tied at 2.
We said 23 points, Ben. He was 10 of 17 from the floor in that game against Georgia. He was a top 10 scorer in the A-Sun a year ago. He can fill it up.
He'll be one of the best players in that league this year, and Coach Davenport told us it doesn't matter who he's playing against. He can score on anybody. And so far, Kamari McGriff doing it for K-State.
And this Wildcat team, they get it from deep, early, and late in that game against Greensboro, but now is to go inside. You've got an advantage. They've got to be able to go one-on-one and finish.
Nice help defense. Bellarmine will have to reset. They swing it to Karasinski for 3.
We said it, 3-level scorer, and he's going to be able to step out, and you have to honor it. Right now, mismatches and miscommunication in this Kansas State defense.
Bashir, 1 dribble, 3, bottom.
One of the best three-point shooters in the nation this season ago, and one of the top scorers. He led the CAA, averaged 20-plus a game. It is his ability to step back and shoot that 3, and he's got range.
Karasinski not this time. Long rebound. Nate Johnson looks to push it. High screen for Haggerty. Trying to get downhill, stripped from behind, but fouled.
And that's what he does so well, is he's going to be able to find space and create, not only for himself, but for his teammates. And you see great ball movement by Bellarmine, 1 extra pass. Krasinski's able to step out and hit. This is where Bashir is so good, Ben. Off the dribble, creating space, puts the defense back on their heels and knocks it down. 4 of 8 from 3. on Monday night, looking to continue to build off that here in this second game at home.
Yeah, all 16 of his points coming in the second half the other night, and when he's on, he just takes this offense to another level.
Well, and we said it in the opener, is that you love the fact that from a guard like that in his first game here, coming into a new system, 21-plus minutes, scores like he does, but doesn't turn it over. And that type of maturity is what you need in this backcourt.
His twin brother, Abdul, playing at Auburn, had 10 points. The Tigers last night out of Omaha, Nebraska. So here's Elias Rapiek getting their start tonight, the junior from Berlin, Germany.
We were talking about it before the game start, just the versatility that he brings to the floor for this K-State offense and defense. His ability to be big, to take up space, he's athletic, and that European nature is at that 4-5 position. You can step out and knock down a 14, 15-foot jumper because that's part of their game. The mid-range is taught that way. He comes from that experience, having played so much for the U18, U20 German national teams.
He had a plus-minus against Greensboro of plus 31, even though he only played half the game. Waddell lines up a three, the transfer from Purdue.
And this offense for Bellarmine now finding a bit of a stride. This is where they struggled against Georgia. As they got off to a slow start, they turned it over. They were flustered. But they've been able to find shots, but their miscommunications giving up easy buckets inside.
Moby Ike Garuke gets the lob pass from PJ Haggerty, and so athletic, so quick off the floor. K-State getting some points in the paint and also some three-point shooting.
You've got to be able to be diversified. This team is not going to win games just going one way. It can't just be the backcourt. The inside game is going to have to this Kansas State offense.
Watkins got to let it fly to try and beat the shot clock and throw up an air ball. Good defense that time from K-State, something Jerome Tang has been looking for, but Abdi Bashir with an early three, and the Cats lead it by 2.
Ton of mistakes along the way, but this program has been in very good hands with the Davenport family.
And he's wanting to put his own stamp on the program, and he told us yesterday, you know, I can't be my father. I can't be Rick Pitino. He spent some time at Louisville, was also at Xavier. He can't be Chris Mack. He's just the best version on the road tonight against Kansas State. Jay Jones into the game. That's knocked away and out of bounds to Bellarmine.
And one of the keys for Doug Davenport when they thought about this roster was not only keeping the players that had signed, they had some redshirt freshmen that are now available, but 9 newcomers this year. They were last season. It was not to the standard that they wanted it to be, but they look at the roster. We're going to get the kids we want, and you're going to squeeze the most out of them every single year.
Whitaker has it stripped from behind by Moby Ike Garuka. It'll stay there. To finish the Bellarmine story, a private Catholic university in Louisville, and they actually beat the Louisville Cardinals a couple of years ago in an early season game.
Yeah, that's one you circle on the schedule. There's no doubt, and you think about where they were, as we said, a season ago, not to the standard that they want with the 9 newcomers, the 5 freshmen, but opportunity to continue to grow this program. And at the mid-major level, Ben, you've got to be peaking in January, February. Put your sights on that automatic qualifying bid.
Shot clock about ready to expire, and they won't get it off. Second time that's happened here in the first 5 minutes.
The focus of this Kansas State defense not only has been transition, they've got to get back. It has been an incremental improvement for this Cat team. But in the half court, it is about shutting down the dribble drive penetration. You cannot allow teams to get to the rim on you. You know how it is in the Big 12. You've got to stop the penetration.
CJ from the corner. Ball. Moby right there, and they'll reset.
CJ Jones came into the game against Greensboro on Monday, really gave K-State a spark in that first half when they were struggling to find offense.
Rapiek double teamed, and a reach-in foul on the Knights.
They are not at all happy with that. Rapiek may have drug his foot. It looked as though he got away with the travel, but that double team has been fast and furious, and they're coming from all directions. If you're Kansas State, that ball goes inside, you're going to have to take care of it. It's got to be a quick hit. They can't wait to make that decision. You've got to either go to look to score, hand contact, or kick it out. The other notion of that, Ben, is on a double team, somebody's open. Find the open shooter opposite.
Couple of subs for Jerome Tang. Andre Kostic, instant offense in, as well as Doreen Buca, the 7'2 junior from Italy.
Got to be able to finish at the rim no matter the contact.
Backdoor cut, and a reach-in foul on Kansas State.
And good movement right now by this Bellarmine offense. They had the stagnant possession, but that time a little bit of a secondary look. And they're going to dive Jacob Wassler, the freshman at 6'11", right to the block. And as he comes, a bit of a fake screen, and he's going to go on the back door. Now he's got a chance to get to the free throw line. An all-state selection coming out of high school from Cincinnati. Wasn't necessarily 100%. Coach Davenport said he's just kind of been getting back into it, but at 6'11", gives them the size they need in the post here to battle Kansas State.
Wassler got them both and tied up again at 10.
If it is a surprise that Bellarmine steps up and knocks down their free throws, it is not really one of any team in the A-Sun. This group last year, a year ago, second in free throw percentage, Ben, in their league. They're going to knock them down when they get a chance.
Buca called for an illegal screen.
You've got to get set, but that arm's there and you're leaning, a little too much contact on the defender. Watkins does a great job of getting around that screen, going over the top. You've got to be able to stay positioned. You've got to stay still.
And going back the other way.
And now we're going to get the same call.
Yeah.
And again, two kind of young and experienced. You got Buca, who comes in considered a junior, but yet even with his international experience, new to the collegiate game, and then Wassler as a freshman, both making the same mistake on that high ball screen.
Yeah, Tommy Clark and Jacob Wassler both in there for Bellarmine. Neither one of them played against Georgia the other night. So with the injury to Gooden, Doug Davenport having to go a little deeper into his bench.
And an opportunity to get some of these guys good minutes, solid minutes and opportunity here. But they've got to throw some different looks at Kansas State, which they have done defensively. Whether they're going to play it straight up, they're going to bring the double team. Either way, you want to contain.
CJ on the slash, counted in the foul.
That's the spark he brought Monday night against UNC Greensboro, his ability to be able to score when needed. And he drew the praise of Jerome Tang afterwards, really said, you know, it was a first half where they played tight, and it was the tail when you're down one, but in the second half you outscore, but you got to have a spark somewhere. And CJ Jones being one of those. 9 starts a season ago, averaged about a little under 20 minutes a game. And this depth that K-State finally has, I think that really makes a difference, and it gives CJ Jones the ability to, I think, play where he's most comfortable.
Bellarmine on that play, so concerned with taking away the lane from P.J. Haggerty after some transition moving the ball to the other side. It opened up a lane for CJ there to finish off the three-point play. Little hip check from C.J. Jones.
And there's Darius Bolden able to turn the corner and draw that foul, and this is all just now about one-on-one contain. For Kansas State defensively, they've had some good spurts here in this first half of being able to keep that penetration out of the middle of the floor, force them to the help side, but that time, too much contact from Jones.
4th team foul on Kansas State. Karasinski drives right into the 7-2. Buca lost the handle, but Bellarmine's going to keep it.
And that's the beauty of 7-2, is that all of a sudden you've got size and great rim protection when Buca's in the ball game. For him to be able to hold his ground and just be that protection on the backside helps those defenders out front.
Wassler. Haggerty with the board. PJ still looking for his first points of the night. Kostic step back from 15. Long rebound tracked down by Karasinski. And blocked by Buca.
But you see on a miss, what a great job Bellarmine did, Ben, to be able to block out, get that long rebound, and go. And they're going to look to create contact. Buca gets away with it, maybe on the body, but regardless, it's going to be out of bounds underneath for Bellarmine, and a very good defensive stand that time for Kansas State in transition.
Jerome Tang will get a timeout.
The ball when you do have the opportunity and you want to do that. Again, if it's successful, the team will receive that second and final challenge. You only get 2 per game, but if you don't, it isn't utilized, they take it from you and take that timeout. It's a big risk that coaches have to take.
Haggerty into a double team. Waddell comes up with the steal. Good ball movement on the perimeter as Waddell dumps it in for Karasinski. He's got a smaller Kostic on him. Waddell into Doreen Buca, who forces a ball on the floor, and the tie-up will give it to Bellarmine. But just the size of Buca in there is creating some challenges.
Absolutely, and it's a game changer. And I think the one thing that it also does is it allows your guards out front, or even all of the other 4 players, to be able to maybe take a little bit more of a risk. Now, that can backfire, but I think the key is you want to jump. You want to be aggressive because you know you do have rim protection and 7-2 on the backside. And as players are going to penetrate and they're going to get to that lane, which is a point of emphasis for this Knights offense, they want to get downhill. You go downhill, you got to make sure you're going to look and get an opportunity to score.
Moby Ikegaruka back in for Buca. Some good minutes. He played just 3 minutes the other night against UNC Greensboro. We'll see if he gets a little more action here tonight. Cats up by 3. Long 3 from Tommy Clark off the mark, out of bounds to Kansas State.
It's been good threes, I think, within the framework of what Bellarmine wants to do, but great contests by K-State. That's another point of emphasis for Jerome Tang and for this offense, or this defense, excuse me, is they've got to contest shooters. You cannot give them open looks, but those contests have to happen without fouling. A much better job here in this first 12 minutes by this K-State defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty good defense as well so far by Bellarmine. One thing they've done is kept P.J. Haggerty out of the lane. Finds Nate Johnson, and he's fouled going up for the dunk. Well, they cut off the dribble, but Haggerty, the veteran, finds Johnson on the backdoor cut. He'll shoot free throws on the other side of this break. Doing it at both ends of the floor, but knows how to win, too, leading Akron to the NCAA tournament the last 2 years.
Well, and when you're the defensive player of the year and the player of the year in your league, that says a lot about what this player brings to the floor. Drew the praise of Doug Davenport and the Bellarmine coaches as well. They had seen him play, knew of his game. It's not a secret as to what he was able to do in his time at Akron, but now being able to elevate, and that athleticism, his strength, and the ability to kind of change a game for Kansas State on both ends is going to be critical. One thing I would say, that's a young man, he's going to have to log a lot of minutes, and he's going to have to stay out of foul trouble throughout the course of this year.
Biggest lead of the night for the Cats as Johnson gets his first 2 and some backcourt pressure. Bellarmine committed 22 turnovers the other night in that road loss to Georgia.
They did not handle the pressure well, and it was sticky and it was intense from Georgia in the full court and in the half court. It's been a better job here tonight early, being able to handle it, movement, finding the open player, not standing, and making Kansas State have to guard every single player on the floor.
Nice backdoor cut by Michael Wilson. Now Moby loses it out of bounds.
And P.J. Haggerty still scoreless here for Kansas State, looking to get his teammates involved as a primary ball handler. But great movement without the basketball for Bellarmine. Again, a double team, someone's going to be open. You've got to cut hard and find space.
There's an unforced error. We asked Doug Davenport what he likes to do offensively, and He said move the ball.
Yeah.
And not just to move the ball, they want to move the defense by moving the ball and then find an opening to attack.
Well, and they don't use a ton of ball screen action, which is what so much of the college game has come to, is high ball screens all over the floor. Haggerty finally getting to the rim and scoring his first bucket, but for Bellarmine, they're going to have to be a little bit more concise. They're going to have to take what gives them. You want to play within the framework, not get in a hurry in the half court.
Wilson trying to back in on Haggerty. Here's Waddell. Skip pass. And now Whitaker. Deep three, air ball. Rebounded by Bobi Ike Garuka as Wilson had to put it up there with the shot clock getting late. Johnson, rhythm three, halfway down and out. And Bellarmine basketball.
And the part of Nate Johnson's 22 points, Ben, was he was 6 of 7 from behind the three-point line. And I think caught them the way they've done. And P.J. Haggerty, 2 possessions earlier, finally getting in the scoring column. Downhill, splitting the defense. His ability to finish through contact and get himself to the free throw line, such a huge factor in his game.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the best finishers in America. We saw it the other night, and that's how he gets his first 2 here tonight against Bellarmine. Poked away into the hands of Bashir. That got tipped. Haggerty, wing three. Yes!
Steps back and knocks it down. He was 10 of 20 from the floor in the opener on Monday night here in Bramlage. Finding the deep range. It's not the biggest part of his game. He wants to put it on the floor, but when you give him the 3, he's going to take it.
The steal at the other end leads to an open 3 for Haggerty, and that's where K-State can just explode on you like they did the other night.
And they have to be able to generate offense with their defense. It has to continue to be a huge piece of what they do. You don't want to get in a battle necessarily consistently just in the half court. You've got to create pace, but you can play fast. But this K-State team's got to learn to play smart. That's going to be the differentiator. Moving without the ball, finding the skip pass, heads up pass by Bashir. And Haggerty knocks down that 3, and he's going to get a breather now for Jerome Tang.
A bit of role reversal there with the shooter setting up the point guard for an open 3.
But now we get a look at David Castillo. The sophomore is going to come in and be the primary ball handler for Jerome Tang. What can the sophomore do here to give himself continually build on those minutes and his game? Because they know he can be a factor for this backcourt for K-State.
Well, I like how Jerome Tang used him the other night. In the first half, he was an off guard with P.J. Haggerty. Then the second half, he played backup point guard while P.J. took a break, ended up with 7 points and 2 assists in 12 minutes.
It's complementary, and I think that's the beauty of it. A lot of different pieces of the puzzle that you can use at different times.
Waddell posting up but can't finish. Here comes Abdi Bashir. He'll set up the offense. Tries the lob. Rapiak comes up with it after it was tipped away, but they'll call a traveling violation, and K-State will turn it back over.
And it's been that point of emphasis for this K-State offense is that you're going to spread the floor, you're going to get 3s, but they know they've got a size advantage. You've got to attack Bellarmine in the post. You got to get to the paint, and you got to go right at them, force that contact. But give credit, because this Knights defense has held strong the best they can in the sense that they are active hands. They've brought the double team, and they have not made it easy for K-State to score inside in the paint.
Tough going here over the last 7.5 minutes at this end of the floor for Bellarmine. K-State's on a 10-2 run after a 10-10 tie. Bolden. Skip pass, back to Bolden. He's guarded by McGriff there.
Bellarmine taking time off the shot clock, Ben, and I think that's got to also be a point of emphasis for them. They've got to continue to work and find good shots. They got it, can't knock it down.
Castillo trying to split 2 defenders, has it taken away. Good defense by Donovan Hunter. Travel. A little sped up there. The pass too high for Grant Whitaker to handle.
And I think that was part of the disappointing results and the effort that they thought they had at Georgia on Monday when they lose 104-59. Is you get stops, you have possessions like that, but then you turn it right back over. You've got to be able to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, make them pay for those turnovers.
Johnson deep three, hits.
It's range, and that's what you love to see out of these Kansas State guards. They can step back with a hand in their face and knock down the three.
Stolen by Johnson. The hammer. A quick 5 from Nate Johnson, and K-State pushes it to double digits.
And it can happen just like that. We saw it Monday, and they now have found the kind of the rhythm to be able to get out and attack and be aggressive defensively and make them pay on the other end.
McGriff, more good defense, but getting it back and scoring. Donovan Hunter, only the second bucket in the last 8+ minutes. Bashir quickly the other way from 25, and he drops it.
Fast and furious, this Kansas State offense can fill it up.
Second triple of the night for Abdi Bashir, and as Coach Davenport told us the other day, said he's in range when he walks in the gym, and we saw it right there.
You've got to be able to get a hand in the face of the shooter, and you've got to find them in transition. But Nate Johnson taking control on both ends of the floor for K-State, knocking down a three, and the effort on the defensive end, the flush on the other. Kansas State up 14.
Yeah, Coach Tang has talked over the last month. One of the things he really likes about this team is how they share the basketball. There you see the run. There's Coach Tang. He's also talked about, in the past, he's talked about, hey, we want to be playing our best basketball in February or March.
Yes.
A bit of a change this year. I think when you go 7-6 in the non-conference last year, he's like, hey, we got to get it going early here. And you look at his resume there, of course, the National Coach of the Year in his first year, taking the Cats all the way to the Elite Eight.
And I think this 4-game homestand is incredibly important for K-State as they have those 10 newcomers, 5 of them Division I transfers. You got to continue to put the puzzle pieces together. It's not going to be perfect every day in practice or every night out in a game situation.
3-on-1 break and a layup for Wilson. After the turnover. It's
been active hands this entire first half for this Bellarmine defense, Ben, and I think that's where they've done a great job. They've tried to shut down these penetration lanes, but when P.J. Haggerty has a ball in his hand, good things happen.
Gets his miss. Castillo hangs and hits. Waddell guarded by Moby Ike Garuka. Again, Bellarmine having to go pretty deep into their bench tonight after the injury to Gooden.
The activity that we have seen on both ends of the floor, but Bellarmine able to get out in transition after the steal. They, a lot like Kansas State, Ben, they want to create some offense with their defense, but the sophomore Castillo able to go baseline, take the contact and finish. Another great sign of production from this Wildcat backcourt.
Wilson gets by Castillo and scores it right before the shot clock expires. Corner three for Castillo.
A miscommunication by the Knights defense leaves the sophomore wide open, steps up with confidence to knock it down.
You know, he only shot 25% from three last year, but coaches always talked about how well he shot it in practice, so we never really got to see how good a shooter he was, but looked pretty comfortable right there.
I think it's a confidence factor, and you've got to get those reps, and you got to get in the rhythm of the game, and sometimes that's not always easy with spot minutes.
Shot clock violation, third time in the first half. K-State clamping down defensively.
And as Kansas State gets stops on the other end, the ball in the hands of P.J. Haggerty draws so much of attention. And that's where it's going to leave David Castillo open in the corner. You've got to spread the floor, create space. If they want to shut down Haggerty, that's going to leave other shooters open. And right now, Kansas State has made Bellarmine pay.
Yeah, making him pay right there with his 4th assist of the half. Castillo stripped from behind. Watkins on the run. Wilson to the left hand. Tip won't go. And a foul on Kansas State as Wassler has the offensive rebound.
And again, the freshman back into the lineup, as we said, at 6'11", really is the most size that Bellarmine is able to put on the floor tonight. And with that said, you just got to be active. You keep that possession alive, and you give yourself a chance to get to the free throw line. He hit too early here in this first half.
I think Doug Davenport's got to be happy with the effort tonight so far. His team has played with a lot of effort and energy, something he said they didn't do the other night against Georgia.
Well, I think the great statement by a coach when you have a game like that where you lose big on the road is that they knew that they could play better and that they had more in them, that whether that's effort and execution, those two things come together. You control your effort and your energy, the other pieces will follow.
Bellarmine recently making the transition from Division II to Division I. This is the second year that they would be eligible to play in the NCAA tournament. Of course, the A-Sun will be a one-bid league, so it'll be whoever wins the tournament. And
that's the life in a mid-major, is that you've got to be able to peak at the right time.
Haggerty got downhill that time.
Darius Bolden got hung up on that high ball screen, went to the floor, and then it was one-on-one, and no one there in help side to be able to stop P.J. Haggerty.
Haggerty 7-4 with 4 minutes to go. Well, Wilson's really played well getting the start here tonight. Skip pass, tipped out of bounds. K-State will keep it. When we come back, 3:50 left to go. K-State building a double-digit lead. 35-24. Guard play can win you a lot of games, and those numbers impressive from the season opener.
I think that's where it starts, is that you have to continue to have backcourt production. And this group right here, this three-headed monster, was a great trio in the opener. They continue to bring that consistency here in this second game against Bellarmine, all doing a little bit different things, maybe at different times in this first half, but they've all been incredibly productive.
Haggerty couldn't finish as he slices into the lane again, but he'll earn a couple free throws. And the three-headed monster so far doing it again tonight. Not quite as big in numbers, although there's plenty of basketball left. But Johnson and Haggerty with 7 each, and Abdi Bashir with 6.
Well, and between the three of them, you're talking about 7 assists that they also have so far out of a team, and there's just 9 that Kansas State has that we've seen from them. So when you think about their ability to share the basketball, to find an open player, and to create for themselves and for their teammates, that's the difference. And that's what sets apart a player like P.J. Haggerty, but to have players like Johnson and Bashir be that productive, even better.
Haggerty's 27 in his K-State debut, the most since a guy named Michael Beasley.
Not bad company
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Watkins. Al Wilson with the shot clock into single digits. He'll drive it on Rapiak. Bolden gets downhill, but blocked from behind by Nate Johnson.
A lot of contact and a no call, but great decision defensively by the Cats.
Not that time for Abdi Bashir, and a foul on the rebound. A little push in the back there on Rapiak.
But you could see Bashir's eyes light up as that ball went out, and he was able to get released in a great pass ahead on the entry. Couldn't get the deep three to go, but that's the type of rhythm that this Kansas State offense is looking for, Ben. You get a stop, you have a great possession defensively, and then find yourself an open look and a deep three. That's all within the framework of what they want to be able to do.
And he certainly has the green light to pull up from that range. Just some amazing games last year playing at Monmouth. 38 against a good Rutgers team. Was 10 of 17 from 3 in that game. Had 20 at Michigan State, 28 at Seton Hall, 26 at Princeton, 15 against Auburn.
That's consistency, and that's a game that transitions and translates to the Big 12 into what Kansas State needs.
Karasinski now with 9 to lead the way for the Knights. There it is. Abdi Bashir, his third triple of the half.
It's a quick release, and his eyes are ready, and it's continuation of shot ready each and every time.
The amazing thing is his threes don't hit the rim. Like, I think every one he's made so far is like all net. There's no rattling going on.
No, you don't need any help, but sometimes you do need a friendly rim in your home gym.
Wilson can't finish. Another follow, though, from Karasinski. And a Bellarmine timeout as they cut it to 12. Back-to-back putbacks here from Karasinski getting to the offensive glass.
Yeah, Karasinski's got 11 points. He's 4 of 5 from the field. Scored a couple buckets early in this first half and then was quiet, but then just continues to attack. Missed on the free throw, but getting to the offensive glass. No block out by Kansas State, and that is just all effort right there by the senior.
Really the lone bright spot against Georgia the other night when he had 23 and 8. Played 2 years at William and Mary.
And I think Doug Davenport really alluded to that, is the fact that he is a versatile scorer. He's going to be able to match up with anybody, and that he is a very tough stop for opponent's defense. With that said, you've got to put him in a position where he can catch and he can move without the basketball. This Bellarmine team's done a great job of cutting and finding open space, but the Kansas State defense has also been able to keep them out of the lane, keep them out of the paint for easy buckets.
This Bellarmine team picked 10th out of 12 in the ASUN preseason poll. But Doug Davenport didn't make too much of that. He said every team's new. All the best players in the conference last year have moved on, so nobody really knows.
Nobody knows a roster, and when you've got 9 newcomers like they do, they are going to be in the same boat that pretty much everybody else in their league is.
Bashir turns down the 3. PJ lines one up and hits. Twice we've seen Bashir to Haggerty for a 3, and K-State back on top by 15. 12 now for Haggerty. Waddell trying to post up down low and kicked out of bounds.
There's those active hands, continuation of this K-State defense. You can tell they have huge focus to be able to get that penetration stop, but movement without the basketball, you got to kick it out and find an open shooter. Haggerty with his feet set, second of this first half.
K-State now 7 of 11 from deep as Karasinski hits one off the side of the rim. 11 assists for the Wildcats in building this 15-point margin. Haggerty. Not that time. Snatched by Ike Garuka. Back to Abdi. He ripped it. 3 points falling from everywhere here during the second part of this first half for K-State. Now 8 of 13 from beyond the arc. Nice crossover, but no finish. And out of bounds to K-State. 4 triples in the half for Abdi Bashir. He has 12. Haggerty has 12. What a rebound by Moby Ike Garuka to save the possession for K-State. 18-point lead with a minute to go. Johnson backing his way in. Tried to feed it with the bounce pass, but it's knocked away. Bellarmine's done a good job taking away some of those interior passes and forcing some turnovers.
They've been in great position defensively, Ben, especially when that penetration gets deep.
Wilson, nice move. And an and one chance for Michael Wilson. He goes into double figures.
A bright spot here in this first half for the Knights has been Michael Wilson. He's worked hard on the glass and just one-on-one and able to finish. Is going to get himself a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. A bit of a spurt and momentum shift here. That's what Bellarmine's looking for headed into half.
Wilson, a Division II transfer, played last year at North Greenville in North Carolina. Johnson snags it, and K-State can essentially hold for the final shot here, up 16. There's Wilson's numbers. All right, let's see what Haggerty does with it. Big jump stop. Can't get the runner to go, though. And Waddell, a little too strong, and we are headed to half. Final 20 minutes from Bramlage. K-State will start the same way. Over the top, Kamari McGriff, easy two for Kansas State.
He had a quiet first half, not a ton of minutes for Kansas State, but we saw that early, which was to go over the top, exploit the size advantage that K-State has, and get into the middle of the paint.
Wilson missed the reverse, but a foul.
He went hard baseline, Ben, and takes a shot in the face. But give credit, because the 6'6" sophomore, a spark to end that first half, and is going to take a lot of contact. I like the reverse action, and it's the right move. Just couldn't get it to go, but he's headed to the free throw line.
Well, with basically a small ball lineup out there for Bellarmine, you have Kamari McGriff guarding 6'6" Michael Wilson, able to put it on the floor and blow by him.
Absolutely. Put it on the deck and go, and that's what you like to see out of the sophomore. Be assertive. Be aggressive. If you're Bellarmine, you cannot get passive here in this second half.
$11 for Wilson. Haggerty to Rapiak. Boy, he wanted the jam and got fouled from behind.
He was looking for it, but I like that one-on-one isolation action that you give to that sort of two-man game over on the right wing. Rapiak able to come and kind of set that screen, but then you've got to read it. And when you slip, and you slip hard and make yourself available, that's when good things will happen. But so much of that comes from P.J. Haggerty, Ben, is that he's got his eyes up and he sees the floor. Some may think a guy like that, he's going to always want to put it on the floor and put his head down. No, he's looking to pass and to be able to distribute.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him play, because he doesn't necessarily force the action for himself offensively, but boy, the points just come, and you look down at the end of the night, and it's 20-plus about every time.
Not a bad way to go. And I think in the first game on Monday, especially in that first half, I felt like maybe they over-dribbled a little bit, that there was a little too much one-on-one. When you get into the comfort of it, you allow the system to work. That's when good things will happen.
Wilson turned down a three. Waddell will line one up and drills it. Brian Waddell has his second triple of the night.
Brian Waddell, an interesting story. Went to Purdue. That's where his father played. Made his first start for Bellarmine on Monday at Georgia. Tonight is his second. Hadn't started a basketball game since he was a senior in high school, after having been on the roster at Purdue. But stepping in as a leader and someone, I think, with a great maturity level for this Knights team.
Definitely a great addition, transferring from Purdue. He didn't play a lot of minutes at all, but at that mid-major level, he'll certainly make an impact. Bashir bounced inside. They find Kamari McGriff again.
And that's what you need out of the 6'9 senior, to be able to catch and finish. Handle the contact, make yourself available. Not huge expectations to be a massive scorer for Kansas State, but when he catches, he's got to finish.
Third assist of the night for Bashir to go along with 12 points. Wilson, too quick, turns it over.
Bashir goes baseline, draws the attention, and there's McGriff, just able to catch, takes his time to gather and finish. As I said, you really have a couple jobs when you're in that post. You got to rebound, defend, and when you get the basketball, you've got to make them pay.
Rapia takes the contact and scores it anyway. K-State doing damage in the paint here to begin the second half. And Missy, so important for K-State to get production from the 4 and 5 spots. We know how good the guards are. They've shown it. I think everybody understands that this is a great backcourt, but what kind of production are they going to get from the 4 and 5? And we're seeing it here to begin the second half.
And sometimes it's simple. It's just an easy putback or an offensive rebound. But regardless, that production is going to be critical. The backcourt is going to give you lifts, but it's going to be the post play that can really define how this season goes for Kansas State.
Kamari McGriff getting it done to begin the.
Of them are freshmen, and A.J. DeBanza at BYU and Cameron Boozer, the 6'9 freshman at Duke. His father, Carlos Boozer, who also played at Duke, and he's got a twin brother on the floor as well. But that's a list. Those names are going to change throughout the course of the season, but P.J. Haggerty is going to continue to establish himself just simply because of what he brings to the floor. Tonight, 12.6 assists. Doesn't seem like it's been kind of pedestrian for him, but what he's done with the ball in his hands, that's the difference maker.
Finds Abdi Bashir off target this time. Ike Garuka goes hard to the floor as he pulls down an offensive rebound and a foul on Darius Bolden. Well, you're almost shocked when Bashir shoots a 3 and it doesn't go in.
And those are good looks, and now all of a sudden you're going to just see this activity for Kansas State to be able to get on the offensive glass, keep the possession alive. Huge focus for K-State to be able to be aggressive on the glass.
Good defense from Bellarmine, forcing the 5-second call.
And drawing the praise of Doug Davenport and their staff, just knowing those are the types of lifts, the momentum plays, the boost of energy that your defense can inject into your offense.
Waddell with the jam as he blows by Kostic.
And the young freshman just got a little bit tangled out there on the perimeter defensively, and that is an experienced player and someone like Brian Waddell to go baseline and finish.
So a layup and a dunk on the last 2 possessions for Bellarmine. And now forcing a steal, Wilson with the jam.
Back-to-back big possessions defensively for this Bellarmine squad. Finding the energy, as we said, it comes with energy and effort. You can control that, but this defense right now has been the name of the game for the Knights.
A quick 6-0 run for Bellarmine with a dunk from Waddell and then the steal and finish from Wilson. .6-0 run for Bellarmine as Jerome Tang gets the timeout, as this one was teetering on the edge there of a big blowout for Kansas State. Bellarmine climbs back in it, down 13.
Combination of 2 things, that 6-0 run, but 2 turnovers by Kansas State. This is where you cannot get complacent. They've got to take care of the basketball.
Kostic steps into a 3, bang.
That's what he's known for, great confidence from behind that 3-point line, but he's got to get his feet set, and he knows when he's going to have that release. It's shot ready each and every time.
Wilson turned away on the baseline drive that time, but here comes Karasinski. Great call out of the timeout by the Bellarmine staff.
They share the basketball so well, and yet another steal by Bellarmine. Karasinski able to finish, and now an and one.
And he is pumped as he slams into the stanchion underneath the basket.
It was a great defensive possession on the other end, and it's going to give Karazinski a chance at that old-fashioned three-point play, but takes the contact. And now Kansas State, they're the team a little bit more complacent in the half court with a couple careless turnovers, and I think Jerome Tang wanting PJ Haggerty and his experienced guards take control and run this offense like they did in the first half.
Karasinski finishes off the three-point play. Bellarmine back within 11. K-State with a small look here with 4 guards and Moby Ike Garuka. You got shooters all over the floor here. Bashir with the step back. Moby Ike Garuka with the rebound on the weak side.
And that's what he does. His ability to get off the floor so quickly. Amazing leaping ability, but no blockout by Bellarmine, able to keep the possession alive. But give credit, because this Knight defense has turned it up a notch. The intensity that they have had to keep dribblers in front and contest shooters. Don't give up a three to Bashir. Instead, force him into a tough baseline jumper. All of that playing right into their hands all the way around.
Moby at the free throw line a year ago for K-State, 53%. Got his first career start on Tuesday against UNCG. That's 3 points here in this one.
You said it, a much different look, kind of that undersized feel right now for this Kansas State lineup. But with Moby and his versatility and athleticism, gonna have to play big in the middle and shut down this Bellarmine offense right now.
Nice feed, missed layup. Waddell missed the tip. Good transition D by Bellarmine to stop Haggerty. And K-State will set up the half court.
Just one thing Doug Davenport told us the other day is that they know they've got to get back. This K-State team is so fast in transition. We saw it in the first half with some quick hit threes when you push the ball up the floor on an easy outlet. There haven't been that many opportunities here because of the adjustments that Bellarmine has made here in the second half.
Doyle back in, and Buka will return for Jerome Tang along with C.J. Jones. The Cats will go from small ball to
big ball.
Really big.
Very big ball. And a mismatch down low with Buka, but they can't get him the basketball. Bailed out a little bit on a reach and foul, but they were looking for it. Buka wanted the basketball, Ben. He had him pinned deep, but they could not find him. And that's what happens when you make those switches and you substitute the way Jerome Tang did, especially on that last possession. You're going to get a mismatch. You got to find a way to get him the ball.
Fourth foul on Doyle, 6th team here in the half. Shot clock to single digits. Johnson spins, too strong. Buka, no on the tip. And a fresh 20 for K-State.
That's why you hit the offensive glass. You keep the possession alive.
CJ, a little fade away.
It was a spark for Jerome Tang on Monday night. Now coming in when you felt like Bellarmine may be gaining some momentum, trying to squelch that, the activity and the athleticism of C.J. Jones coming through.
Nice baseline drive as Waddell forces his way in and scores.
And yeah, Waddell has been so good just in his ability to go one-on-one. And to be able to catch, post up, square, and go. And that is just textbook footwork right there by the senior. At 6'7", now he's got a chance at that old-fashioned three-point play. But you like the aggressiveness. We saw it a couple possessions ago when he was able to go baseline for the flush. That time, the finish at the rim through contact. He has been a bright spot here in this second 20 minutes for Bellarmine.
Yeah, he's into double figures. Has 7 already in the second half. Make it 8 and 11 for the ball game.
I think this is a time right here, Ben, where it's been quiet. We saw it in the first half, the first 10 minutes or so. Not a lot of production from P.J. Haggerty. Yeah, it seems like those numbers add up. But this is where you would like him to take a little bit more ownership, take control of this thing, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah, I think K-State relaxed a little bit, but to Bellarmine's credit, they've kept coming. And they have trimmed what was once a 19-point deficit down to 11. K-State into the 1-1.
And this is a big plus right here if you're Kansas State, knowing the fact that at the 13-plus minute mark, you're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way. Foul trouble has been an issue for the Knights. It's going to continue to add up, but this is where you can separate yourself from your opponent.
And the crowd loves it when the big guy makes free throws.
I always feel like it's like something that you don't see very often, right? I mean, it goes back to the whole Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
Like, you know, big guys that couldn't make free throws. It's not so, it happens, trust me. There are guys out there that can knock them down.
1 of 2 at his first trip to the line. 10 different Wildcats have scored now. Here comes that baseline drive again. And despite Buka getting a piece of that, that drops for Jacob Wassler. Stolen. Hunter there to take away the baseline pass. Bellarmine trying to get into single digits. Watkins got to do something here. Wassler will have to launch. Johnson there with the board for K-State. Into the corner, all alone, Castillo buries it.
And that's a backbreaker right there if you're Bellarmine. They've had great defensive possessions, couldn't get it to go on the other end. Head up, find the open shooter, and Castillo knocks it down in the corner.
8 off the bench for the young sophomore. Hunter can't answer. Jones tried to dump it in for Buka. Could have shot it.
Should have shot it. That's the type of shot you want to take. Take the contact, look to finish at the rim. Unselfishness is great, but when you're that close, you've got to finish. Those are the miscues Kansas State cannot have.
Wassler on the slip, gets the slam.
And that's what happens. Turnover on the other end, and Bellarmine converts and puts this thing into an 11-point game. But you feel that momentum. They want to stay within striking distance here in the second half.
Haggerty with a full head of steam. Castillo left alone, got another one.
Shot ready. We talked about it with Cautious earlier, and that's exactly what you want from the sophomore. Be assertive, look to score, coming off the bench and give this team a spark.
11th triple of the night for Kansas State, but they can't take away the layup drill at this other end. Bellarmine putting on a half-court clinic.
It's a slip screen. It's so easy, and they have just made it look that simple here in the second half.
Johnson explodes into a layup and a timeout for K-State as they push it back to 14. It's Bellarmine layups against threes for K-State, and the Cats lead it by 14.
19 assists have come from these three players here so far. Not only are they filling it up on the offensive end, but they are sharing the basketball and making things work for their teammates. They play well with each other, continuing to learn to play with themselves as well as with the others on this roster. But I think one of the points of emphasis in that huddle, Ben, had to have been about some of the miscues they've had defensively, because Bellarmine has been able to get to the paint and make them pay.
Yeah, 20 of their 26 points in the second half coming in the paint. There's a stop. Rapiak splits the D but can't finish the layup. And a foul on the rebound.
And I think just a bit of a frustration right there from Rapiak because he couldn't get it to go. And Karazinski with a big rebound in transition. Too much contact sends him to the floor, and Bellarmine's going to get possession here. They themselves had a turnover going the other way, but they dodge a bullet there. Can they get one to go and have a good offensive possession right here?
Hunter trying to post up smaller David Castillo. Over the top of Castillo and finishes. They'll post all five guys.
Doug Davenport told us that they like to exploit the opportunity when they can.
And an offensive foul against Kansas State at the other end.
Bashir's going to get whistled. You see the one-on-one isolation on that low block. Donovan Hunter at 6'8", just able to go right at David Castillo. We said it, they'll post all five. Look for those ISOs on the low block. But it was the ISO on the other end for Bashir trying to go one-on-one baseline. Too much contact, and that's a turnover for the Cats.
Isolation for Wilson. Waddell stripped away by Haggerty. Haggerty 1-on-3 behind the back, and he's fouled.
So good and so fast in the open floor, the speed of which he is able to accelerate with the basketball. That separates PJ Haggerty from almost everyone else in college basketball today. Some may say he might be a little bit undersized, but his ability to get by people so quickly, it doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are. You could do that with the basketball. Great things ahead.
It's interesting. The first half he had 12 points, but he didn't score until about midway through the first half. And same thing here. That's his first point of the second half. His points tend to come in bunches, as they do for Abdi Bashir as well.
They do come in bunches, but I have to circle that 8 assists. And as the primary ball handler in this offensive system now that Jerome Tang and Matthew Driscoll have put in place, that's what you like to see. Distribute and score when he needs to.
Hunter looking to back his way down, this time on Bashir. Rattles in and out and rebounded by C.J. Jones.
That's a great play, and it's a good possession right there with the mismatch that they have. He just couldn't get it to go.
Castillo. $13 off the bench. What a night for David Castillo.
He played in 32 of 33 games last year, had appearances, but it never really felt, I think, that he had one of those breakout performances. But what you're seeing is his evolution of the work he did in the offseason and being able to come in off the bench, whether it's a primary ball handler, play the 2 spot, whatever's been called of him. He's done it defensively, but stepping up and knocking down open shots. And I just like the aggressive nature that he's had.
I thought it was interesting in the press conference, and we played the clip earlier. Jerome Tang was asked about, one of the best backcourts and talking about the transfer trio. But then he said, I got 6 guys.
Yes.
He's got Kostic, he's got Castillo, and he's got C.J. Jones, and they've all contributed tonight.
And depth is amazing if you're a coach, simply because you've got options. And you never know when someone might be injured, they get in foul trouble, you have sickness, whatever that might look like. Somebody's just having an off night, not able to handle handle their defensive assignment. You've got to go to the next guy up. And that kind of depth for Jerome Tang and his staff, huge on your bench.
Haggerty getting a break right now. So Castillo will go from off guard to the point as Johnson returns. Long range three won't drop for Donovan Hunter. And a timeout, 7:51 to go. 73-58 Wildcats.
Going 5 of 5, that you can't ask for better efficiency. But every time he's had the ball in his hand, something good has happened on the offensive end, whether it's to drive and kick and find an open player or for him to be able to look to score, an added benefit when you have a point guard that not only can distribute, but that can get the basketball themselves an opportunity to finish.
K-State's biggest lead has been 19. Little runner on the baseline, no. Wilson there to clean it up as Karasinski landed hard, slow to get up, but he's going to walk it off.
Yeah, it seemed as though from the noise when he went down, they may have hit his head. But he tried to sky in there to keep that possession alive. He did, and an offensive rebound. And Bellarmine, as the shot goes up, Watkins can't get it to go. Krasinski and Rapia can't get a handle on it, and that's where Wilson Jr. is able to finish. But this Bellarmine team outscoring Kansas State here, Ben, in the second half, and they just continue to be active and chip away.
Haggerty returns after a brief break. McGriff back in there as well. 5 to shoot, and they throw it away. And a left-handed lay-in for Miles Watkins. That's his first 2 of the night.
And another turnover for this Kansas State offense. Now 16 here on the night. Bellarmine struggled to handle the pressure in the first half, and K-State, they have had some miscues here in the second.
Haggerty, yes. Nice kiss off the glass. And the lead back to 13. 15 for Haggerty. Watkins just lost the handle and just fell out of bounds.
Felt as though there might be quite a bit of contact there on that far side, but Watkins active out in the passing lane, able to tip that basketball and finish. And then what PJ Haggerty does so well, draw contact, get to the rim, that time finish, no whistle, but regardless, when he sees a seam, he's gonna go.
And Haggerty splits 2 defenders, is tripped and fouled, and K-State in the 1-and-1, 9th team foul.
It's amazing to think what he was able to do a year ago, I mean, at Memphis, having an All-American season, averaged just shy of 22 points a game. But the fact that he was one of the top free throw shooters in the country in the sense of makes and attempts, that just tells you about how assertive he is with the basketball in his hand, but then also how tough it is to keep him contained and get him stopped.
Well, we've been talking about the guards all game long, and rightfully so, but boy, there's going to be so many tight games when you get into conference play, and to have those guards that can make plays and get to the free throw line, make free throws, is going to be so important for this K-State team.
Well, and that experience factor, Jerome Tang has talked about it a lot, the maturity level of this group. But you've got 3 guys on this roster in terms of Haggerty and McGriff and Nate Johnson. All were in the NCAA tournament a year ago on their teams that they were with. That kind of experience, it's irreplaceable. And it gives you and it sets the standard of what you want for the other players on this team.
Doyle, back rim on a 3. Rapia there for the board. Wow, good defense, Wilson. And misses the layup, but look at the hustle and the tip in. Was that Doyle? Boy, he went down hard.
Yeah, both Wilson Jr., who missed the layup, he took a hard collision as well. And Tyler Doyle in there to get the tip. And get it to go, loses his footing, the 6'5" sophomore. We heard his head hit the floor from where we are at, but it looks as though he's up. You're gonna see it from the top cam. Get it, and down he went, just feet out from underneath him. But he'll get credit for that basket on the tipping.
Tough way to get your first 2 points of the night.
Absolutely, and for a guy who's been saddled with foul trouble in and out of the lineup for Doug Davenport this evening, but gets that too, and he earned it. There's no doubt.
Oh, you got to love the effort there. You know, you're thinking your teammate has a run out for the layup, but he didn't give up on the play. McGriff, catch and finish. Wilson kicks it out into the corner. 3 won't drop for Watkins. Johnson pitched out to Bashir, steps into a 3, and that won't drop. Four of 5 for Bashir in the first half from deep, but nothing dropping yet here in this second half. Doyle back in there, so good to see him return. Foul on K-State as Karasinski gets backdoor and is fouled.
Yeah, that back door has been there all night tonight for this Bellarmine offense. We've seen it with the slip screen, but really just with a great cut and ball fake by Doyle out front. And Rapiak bites. Now Karasinski's headed to the free throw line, couldn't get it to go, but the movement that we've seen from this Knight offense tonight, when they have clicked, they have had great opportunities to finish, and they've scored some easy buckets against this Kansas State defense.
Moby back in for Elias Rapiak. Some coaching there from Jerome Tang as Karasinski has 17 on the night.
I think talking about biting on that ball fake and getting beat on that back door and just making those adjustments, these are the pieces for this Kansas State defense that they will continue to focus on.
Blocking foul. And 2-shot foul now coming for K-State. Haggerty closing in on another 20-plus night. He's got 18. Again, 27 in his debut after averaging 25 in the 2 exhibition games. Close to a double-double, needs 1 more assist. Wilson again has just lived on that baseline drive.
I have been so impressed by the sophomore, has not backed down. There's been a mismatch, but has gone in against the size of this Kansas State defense and able to finish.
A double alley-oop.
The question is, who is going to get credit for that assist? I think it's maybe you have to split it, like everybody gets half, right?
Hockey.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Everyone gets a point.
That was something. Cats will take it, though. Waddell, ball fake, bounce pass, kicked. Let's see that one again. 84-67. The double alley-oop. Haggerty to Moby to Kamari.
You can put yourself in a position to win a title, but you want to be peaking when you hit that postseason tournament.
Karasinski misses the three.
Good execution out of that. Coming out of that timeout, you know they were looking for Karasinski to get him a shot. They got him the wide open look in the corner, just couldn't get it to go.
Bellarmine just 3 of 15 from deep. Contrast that for K-State going 11 of 19. Make it 12 of 20. Abdi Bashir with his 5th of the night.
It's range. Guy with a hand in his face doesn't even phase him. That's why shooters are always ready. You got to have your feet set and you're thinking shot first, pass second.
Reach in foul on Kansas State. Well, both teams with great action there to get their best three-point shooter open. And for Kansas State, Abdi Bashir knocking down another one.
But it starts with the fact that P.J. Haggerty draws so many people to him. When he's looking to turn that corner to get to the middle of the floor, even on a hesitation dribble, Ben, that's going to bring the defender Doyle bit, and that gave Bashir just enough space and time, and he knocks it down.
And if you're P.J. Haggerty and you want to get a double-double with your 10th assist, you pass it off to Abdi Bashir for a three.
Absolutely. I'm looking for the guy that I think is going to be money from behind the arc.
Haggerty, foul going up. He'll earn 2 more free throws and a chance to get over that 20-point mark. 19 and 10, a double-double for Haggerty tonight.
You're looking at that line, and as you said, 10 assists so far, just 3 turnovers that he's had. And while this Kansas State team has turned it over 17 times, it's been in multiple different ways, whether it's a couple miscues, they've been trying to do too much, maybe feeding a post player when shouldn't have taken the easy shot. But P.J. Haggerty just looks and feels incredibly comfortable at that point position. And I think that has to be something that's very calming and welcoming for Jerome Tang.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll has an upcoming date against one of his former teams, Tulsa. We'll be here in Bramlage. We'll have that one for you November 17th. But first, date with Cal on Thursday here at Bramlage.
And while it seems strange, Cal is an ACC team. So that is an odd concept to think about. But the Cal Bears will come to Bramlage, and that'll be a great ACC challenge.
I literally almost said a matchup against the Pac-12
You
Cal
can't
Bears.
do it, right? You can't do it. I know. It's kind of crazy. Coming all the way across the country and in the ACC, but Cal and Stanford, either way, great matchups and great opportunities because you do need to challenge yourselves. You know, we talked about the mid-majors having to play Power 5 teams to cut their teeth in the non-con. But the one thing that you cannot do is shrink away from competition. And I think Jerome Tang has scheduled tough this year, knowing he needed to challenge these guys and get them ready for Big 12 play.
Day Ames is on the Cal team that'll be here on Thursday. Former Wildcat guard, played here for a year. 20-point lead with 2 to go. Nice slip screen. Kamari McGriff having a career night with 16. Eight of 8 from the field for Kamari McGriff. Wilson will try a 3. Long rebound. Run down by Wilson. Now stolen from behind. Maybe. Yes. Haggerty got knocked pretty hard in the upper body there. And more free throws for P.J. Haggerty.
I know that's a shock to the system, but that is a place where he lives and loves to be. But the slip screen has been there tonight for this Kansas State offense. And McGriff able to finish at the rim. His strength, his size, a huge advantage. And a very calming presence in the front court, I think, for this Kansas State squad. Something that felt as though they were missing at times a year ago, where they just didn't have a post, someone that you know you're going to get points, rebounds, block shots, defensive stops. I always feel like your post players, your first jobs, rebound, defend, don't turn it over. Points are going to be an added bonus.
Great to see the action from and the production from Kamari McGriff tonight. Added 20 pounds of muscle over the summer, and that's huge.
Yes, to be able to compete in the Big 12 and understand how physical that league is, but also when we think back to some of the teams that they're going to encounter over the next couple weeks. Cal, Mississippi State, Tulsa, those are all very physical teams, and you're going to have to bang and be ready to go. And Kamari McGriff is going to be a big piece of that puzzle.
23 for Haggerty and 11 assists. He's done for the night, as is Kamari McGriff, who sits down a perfect 8 of 8. David Gasson had a 9 for 9 game against Abilene Christian a few years ago. Great production from those two transfers tonight, along with many others. Taj Manning in there, gets the rebound, but couldn't hang on to it. With a $1:20 to go. "23 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds," if you're wondering, for Haggerty. As Nate Johnson had that near triple-double in the opener. Haggerty well short on the rebounds of contesting that. CJ launches for 3. Castillo still hot. Castillo with a 4 of 4 night from downtown. 95 on the board for the Cats. Wassler. Arrow pointing in favor of the Knights. As a team now, Kansas State 13 of 22 from beyond the arc. That will win you a lot of basketball games, although I'm sure Jerome Tang will talk a lot about some of the defense here in the second half and the turnover problems.
I think it's a combination of both, Ben, but you look at how this team can open up the floor, and having so many weapons out on the perimeter, that's a difference maker. And whether it's Castillo coming in off the bench, knocking down another 3 right there, that's confidence from the sophomore that you love to see.
Absolutely feeling it tonight. David Castillo, 5 of 5 from deep. And Jerome Tang says, hold it up, fellas. We're going to come up 2 shy of 100. And the crowd loving it here as K-State finishes out in style, winning at 98-71 behind 14 threes on the night. David Castillo with a couple of late threes.